The only thing I'm ticked about is the fact that they can't list the correct running back that we should be picking up or that we are going to pick up in free agency. Guys, today, PFF's Brad Spielberger went ahead and listed the Bengals and the Packers as top landing spots for free agent running back Josh Jacobs. And listen, Josh Jacobs is one of the best running backs in the league. Last year, he had a down year. The Raiders were kind of ups and downs. But even then, he still had a good year. If we go to his premium stats, we can see he still put up a solid... Actually, wait. Hold up. 296 yards. I thought he actually had a better year than that. This has to be incorrect, right? There's no way he got hit 200. No. This is definitely incorrect because this is receiving. He has 296 receiving yards. I was about to say, there's no way that this guy put up that much rushing yards. Now he probably put up 1,000 rushing yards. Stats 805. Okay, 805 yards, which is still pretty damn good. It's obviously not the year before that. We had 1,600 yards. Actually, very comparable to a 2021 campaign. But he's a really good running back, right? And that's not even debatable at this point. He's a great running back. He is young. He is 26 years old going into next season. And I would love to pick him up, right? And at the end of the day, it would also be amazing to be able to get every good player in free agency and add them to the Cincinnati Bengals roster. But we have to be logical. And a lot of different teams are going to be trying to get Josh Jacobs. That's why, in my opinion here, right? And as it says right here, it says Cincinnati can cut Joe Mixon and save over $6 million against the cap this offseason. That's because we can cut him, save money from his own contract. And then if we cut him and we don't have him on the roster as of March 16th, then we don't owe him an extra $3 million. If we do, we owe him an extra $3 million. So it's on 6 point something million we would save. I love this idea, not of cut Joe Mixon. I don't want to cut Joe Mixon. I want Joe Mixon as my starting running back. I want Chase Brown as my backup. And then my third string I want is DeAndre Swift. Okay? I love Josh Jacobs. I think he's a premier running back, and he's amazing. And I will always give him his credit for that said reason. But the guy that I want more than anything is DeAndre Swift. Especially if we keep Joe Mixon and we have a third string running back. DeAndre Swift is like the money man. He's like the magic man. 72.1 rushing, 52.8 receiving. Which is kind of crazy because I want to say he just had a down year with the Eagles. Because when he was with the Lions, he was a receiving nightmare. He did have injury concerns, and that was his biggest problem. Okay, maybe not actually. 389 yards, 452 yards, 357 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. Yeah, okay, maybe not as crazy as I thought it was, but still, he's a nice receiving back out of the backfield. Imagine having a running back out of the backfield who can catch the ball 80 times in a year, right? Or get targeted 80 times in a year and catch it at least 60 times. I know Joe Mixon is still really good in the pass-catching game. And same thing with Chase Brown as well. Chase Brown's really good in the pass-catching game as well. But even with Joe Mixon, actually, the last 2 years has actually been pretty damn good. 60 receptions, 52 receptions, 42 receptions. So to have another running back who can help us out in that category is always nice. And again, like I said, Chase Brown is going to take a next step forward and a big leap. And that's why if we do target running back in free agency, I don't want to spend all of our money on running back. I really don't. I don't want to go crazy and say, oh, we need to get running back. No, we don't. We need to get a RB3 who is solid and can help us out. We already have RB1. We already have RB2. And if everything works out next year, RB2 will become RB1, right? Chase Brown will become RB1 if everything works out. And then we have Joe Mixon. And then RB3, that's when I want to see, again, DeAndre Swift. There's a couple other pieces out there we could go to. I love Josh Jacobs. I think he's a great option. My problem is I don't think that's where we need to spend all of our money. If you want Josh Jacobs, you're going to have to drop the bag on him. And if I'm dropping the bag on any position group, it's not going to be running back in free agency. It's going to be tight end. It's going to be tight end, then it's going to be corner, then it's going to be off. Well, I'd say, okay, because we can draft offensive line, I'm going to put offensive line third. If we couldn't draft it, I would say 1 for offensive line, but because we can draft offensive line, it's going to be third, and then fourth going to be defensive line. So, I honestly, running back, if I'm dropping the bag, that would be the last position I'm worried about. Just because I don't really see the purpose of, going all out there and getting a third string running back. Now, if your theory is, well, we're going to cut Joe Mixon and we're going to move on from Joe Mixon, then yes, you're right. If we cut Joe Mixon and move on from Joe Mixon, then I don't think we need an RB1. I think Chase Brown can be an RB1. I think what we need then is an RB2 who maybe is a veteran who can, help out Chase Brown and give us kind of like a change of pace role, kind of like a Samaje Perine. And if that's the case, cool. But we don't need a Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry to be that guy. Now, I also like to fathom the idea of what if, hypothetically speaking here, we go ahead and get Austin Eckler. And again, you might make the argument, okay, then we're going to cut Joe Mixon. If that's the case, then that's the case. But we get Austin Eckler, and we have a 1-2 punch of Austin Eckler and Chase Brown. That would be, in my opinion, a very awesome / cool idea. And I would love to see that. Again, having 2 really good pass catchers out of the backfield. And again, Joe Mixon is no slouch out of the backfield catching the ball. But still, though, it would be nice to have another guy a little bit better than DeAndre Swift, in my opinion, a lot better than DeAndre Swift in Austin Eckler, to have a true receiver out of the backfield. But again, Josh Jacobs, love the guy, great player, great everything. Just simply not my cup of tea when it comes to what I would target in free agency. There's a lot of great players who are going to be in free agency. We looked at it yesterday, 150 free agents. Not the guy I'm going to drop the bag on. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe down below you're going to tell me, oh, no, dude, we need to drop the bag on running back. The only reason you would drop the bag on running back is if you cut Joe Mixon. And I just don't see them cutting Joe Mixon. I really don't. I mean, there's really no real true reason to. And the reason why I say that is because he's coming off of a fantastic year, Joe Mixon is. So what's the point of moving on from him unless you have a solidified option is going to be the guy? And if you're thinking smartly here, Chase Brown is your future. You saw really good things out of him this year, and you want to continue to see him progress, and he's going to be your cheap option. Instead of spending the bag on another player, just keep what you have. And that's kind of how I look at it. Maybe getting a good third string running back, I'm okay with. Outside of that, though, I'm kind of sticking and picking here. Thank you guys for watching.